Nesbihal, Nesbihal. I'm a sister of charity from downtown Jersey City. I'm co-administrator, along with Sister Eleanor, of Resurrection School. Resurrection School is a member of the Green Faith organization. In fact, Resurrection School became the first faith-based school in New Jersey to become a green flag school. So our environment is very important to us. I brought a small delegation of the students that I represent. Would those students please stand? They're getting a little itchy, so that they can stand up. Please notice their beautiful new uniforms. Thank you, guys. Be seated and keep still. Okay. Why am I concerned? Why are we concerned? We're in downtown Jersey City, and a shift of the wind brings all those smells right to us. I served in downtown for 40 years, and the number of students with asthma or bronchitis or those kind of pulmonary diseases were so limited in those days. But over the years, I can't begin to tell you the numbers of students that suffer because of asthma. And it is growing and growing and growing. And it's hurting our children. So please do whatever you can to control this so that we can have healthy children and good air to breathe. We're not going to be rude, but there are a few children who haven't finished their homework and some who have to go to bed so they can think tomorrow. So when I leave, if there's a little noise, we're just leaving. We bless your work. We thank you for all you are doing in the name of a good earth for all good people. Thank you.
I am 86 years old, and I'm still fighting for the work in our neighborhood. I'm involved in every one of our fights to keep our neighborhood clean, to help our neighborhood, to save our parks, to stop incinerators. We stopped a couple of them, but we couldn't stop the garbage incinerator. But we wanted to keep track of everything that went on in the garbage incinerator, and we asked to be told, have reports sent to us to let us know, the ICC, to let us know what's going on. And we haven't had the reports, and they don't give inspections the way they're supposed to. And the DEP calls them up to tell them they're coming. We want them to go surprise them and find out what's going on, not wait for their reports. So anyway, we do not want the reports, the permits changed. We want them strengthened what they have now. Don't give them any more chance to pollute our air. We are having enough problems as it is. If you went through the city of Newark, if you went through the Ironbound, you would find out. Everybody stays indoors. They don't go walking around the streets. So please help us and save our city.
BAPTISTA. And I can give you a copy of the contact. I want to thank you for coming out tonight for hosting this public hearing. We appreciate the opportunity to have public comments and the public come out and not just participate but listen to some of the things that are going on. I'm here as a representative of Ironbound Community Corporation. Ironbound Community Corporation, as you heard from our executive director, has been a community advocate for environmental justice for several decades, fighting for the rights of residents to have a safe and clean place to live, work, and play. According to GDP's own data, the Ironbound community has some of the highest cumulative impacts resulting from multiple sources of pollution. Highways, other polluting facilities that concentrate in our neighborhood. We have multiple sources of pollution in a very small area in a densely populated neighborhood. Additionally, this facility and our community are located in a non-attainment zone for particulate matter 2.5, as you heard from Dr. Sheets. This facility is the largest garbage incinerator in the state, one of the oldest. It represents the largest single source of mercury emissions into our air, roughly 200 pounds per year. It also represents a large amount of dioxin, hazardous air pollutants, and other criteria air pollutants into the air. Every day, over 2,000 tons of garbage enter this facility in our neighborhood on hundreds of dirty diesel garbage trucks from dozens of municipalities as far away as New York City to be burned here in our backyard. This massive amount of garbage receives a cursory visual inspection by one or two workers on the tipping floor before it's thrown in the pit for combustion. There's minimal waste separation, recycling, and removal of inappropriate trash, and there are multiple instances of breakdowns and violations associated with the facility's operations in what they call difficult fuel source. The fuel source being garbage. So it's very difficult to control what garbage comes into your facility every day. It's whatever anybody throws out. DEP's own database shows that this facility has a consistent and chronic record of hundreds of violations over the last decade, many of which we believe have not been properly brought into compliance. All of these points raise our level of concern and frame some of the more technical comments that I'll be making as it pertains to this facility. And I'm going to reserve some of the more technical comments for written, because I don't want to bore everyone to death. I'll just start by speaking to the frequency of monitoring at this facility for key pollutants of concern, such as mercury, which you mentioned in your opening statements that you test for once a year. Now, when people throw out batteries in their garbage, that happens and it gets burned in the facility, it's a very irregular spiking of mercury emissions. If you test for mercury only one time a year, I'm not sure how that signifies a significant representation of the mercury that's actually being burned at this facility. This is just one example, and we believe that it's not possible to accurately assess this large facility's compliance with emissions limits with a few one-hour test runs averaged over several years sometimes, or across the year. We believe the DEP should increase the number of department-validated stacked test runs for those air pollutants which are not continuously monitored, such as mercury. Particulate matter, you heard Dr. Nikki Sheet speak to particulate matter. This is a very big concern for our community because of the deleterious health impacts and the localized concentration of PM, not just from what's burned at this facility, but the hundreds of diesel trucks that operate at this facility that are not part of this permit. So we would ask that the DEP increase the stack testing for PM10 and apply the most stringent PM 2.5 standards as possible. We understand that the EPA has emergent PM 2.5 regulations that are set to take effect within the 5-year lifetime of this permit, and we ask that DEP include language in this permit so that those testing and standards be triggered once the EPA's test methods come into effect. With respect to Section D of the pollution prevention reporting, we would like to request that Covanta be required to report to the DEP and the public, including ICC, and evaluations of emissions trends not only for precursors to ozone and HAPs, which they have been required to do so in the past, but also for PM10 and PM 2.5, the latter of which is critical because of the non-attainment in this area. Temperature. We know this facility has hundreds of violations of temperature violations. Temperature is very important. You have to maintain a very high temperature to burn the stuff that comes into this facility. There's hundreds of temperature violations of this facility, many of which have been granted affirmative defenses. We would like the DEP to keep and scrutinize affirmative defenses that are granted in these cases, require that the Covanta, when applying for an affirmative defense, certify in their annual permit and annual application the number of violations that have occurred, and that they be required to report all the times that the same or similar malfunction have occurred in the past and why they believe corrective actions taken have failed to prevent those same malfunctions from reoccurring. We would also like to have a consistent record of those violations and when those violations have been granted affirmative defenses and for what reasons. Lastly, on reporting. According to the most recent executive order issued by the governor in February of 2009, the Executive Order 131 on environmental justice, it states that all state entities involved in decisions that affect environmental quality and public health provide opportunities for input by representatives of low-income and minority groups and environmental justice communities of concern. The Ironbound community being one of such those communities, we would like to request that the DEP notify ICC directly and residents in general of any major permit activities related to this facility. For example, this facility currently has an application to the DEP to add a waste transfer facility to their operations, and the public has not adequately been notified or given opportunity to see this application or comment on it. We would like in the future to have an opportunity to get public notices, meetings, hearings, and informational sessions directly with DEP with anything pertaining to any permit, even outside of the Title V permits for this facility. And I thank you.
You said that there's a permit application in for waste. Is that an air or waste? I thought it was a waste. Okay, it's a waste. Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay.